I can only hope that's a dog slurping in the audio background. But cheers, everybody! Welcome to I think it's episode
Yeah, I'm not at Emily's house. What are you talking about?
243. Okay.
Wait,
Let's roll that back. Welcome, everybody.
You
It's
mean
Michigan
this
Bros
isn't the audio of
Bro
a
Show,
politician's
episode
office?
243.
Sounds like the audio in a politician's office. Maybe the CRA. Oh, sorry. Am I speaking? Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
What have we done? Well,
Sorry. Right off the rails right away. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to the Bro Show Live. Michigan Bro Show Live.
The Michigan one.
The one in
Cheers,
Michigan.
guys.
cheers. How's everybody doing?
Well, the politicians are doing
I'm
good.
doing great.
I'm doing good.
It was just
Summertime
Ruben.
and the living's hot, dude. It was like 90 degrees today.
I know you're already starting to get a little bit of a tan on your. I can see it on your face, man.
Yeah. I'll be
Mine's all on my neck, on the back of my neck.
beyond pale.
Farmer stand.
I burned my back already once, and it's already been peeled.
Definitely spend a lot of outdoor activities.
Yeah, I'm not going to share any tan lines with you guys, but we definitely set up a couple camping chairs and one of those little like inflatable, I don't know, what is it, like 4-foot by 10-foot pools that you get from Menards or whatever. That's like $60. And honestly, I think it's a lifesaver. Set it up yesterday. It was, I don't know, well water straight from the ground. It's like 44 degrees or whatever. By today, it was 79 degrees in the morning. It's like,
Dude, bath water.
yeah, dude.
Seems
Kids are loving it.
time.
Whoa.
Ruben loves pools. We just have a kiddie pool.
Awesome.
And fill it up, and it cools him down. He's got a lot of hair, so he overheats real fast.
Honestly, guys, like, do you guys prefer a dog that like would dive right into a pool or a lake or a beach, when you showed up, or would you rather have one that would kind of like chill and just stayed out of them? Because my two current dogs don't really go in the water at all, and I miss like that playfulness that my parents' white lab had, where she'd like jump right into the pool, like almost drown you because she was so excited to like climb on top of you, like that's fun.
Yeah, we're excited to get Ruben to a lake, like an actual body of water. He goes right in the kiddie pool, but it's only a couple inches. It's not. We don't fill it all the way.
Let's find a dog-friendly beach for Memorial Day.
Dioji was a water dog. He would go straight into the water.
Really?
You try to keep him out, yeah. And it was like a seawall, so he would always be hurting himself trying to jump in and off the seawall, on and off the seawall, and like 2 feet deep of water, trying to jump. One time he did hurt his hips, and that was like the one time I was like, all right, that's enough of that. And he hurt himself pretty much all summer, and I thought that it was like the end of his legs, and he came right back with a bunch. Gave him some CBD oil after that one, and he just hightailed it on. Yeah, dogs love Ruben just likes being wet. He doesn't care if it's a lake, what kind of body of water it is. It was pouring down rain today, and he was like, "Let me get out in that mud, please."
Yeah, the zoomies, and I'm out there gathering the chickens to put them inside because it's like pouring almost hail outside, and he's got the zoomies and is attacking me on the way back inside the house. I'm like, no, this is not playtime. It was a downpour, straight downpour.
He does the attack zoomies. He likes to attack.
He runs zoomies. Full speed and
full
lunges.
Bore, jumps from about 15 feet away with open mouth, like coming at us. You have to like dodge him like dodging a bull, I practice judo with him. It's quite fun. I'm just like all body work, you know what I mean? And he just kind of like, he's like, I have to like, kind of moving around him. So that's always fun. We had some friends by today. He got to experience an old basset hound that like doesn't move. And he tried playing with her and she was like snapping at him. So he got to like, see that fear. And then another friend came over with like a 2-year-old pit bull, like total Stafford Terrier, clipped ears and everything. And this little dog wasn't taking his little runtiness either, because even though Ruben was bigger than him, the dog was like putting it. This pit bull was like jumping on Ruben and like lunging, putting him in his place. A nice pit bull, but still not one to.
He's the sweetest dog normally, but Ruben, I think, is pushy. He's like wants to play and is a bit much. And so this dog was just like, no.
Yeah, he doesn't respect boundaries or personal space very much. So this dog was like, it's actually really interesting to watch the dogs do the alpha dance, because this dog would like put his snout under Ruben's like armpit and like give him noses, and then the dog would like tough walk by Ruben and stop, stare at him, and Ruben would like look away, and then the dog go, yeah, that's up, and then keep walking, you know what I mean? And it was like, wow, they're like actually doing this weird alpha dance. It's really interesting. No dogs were injured. Everybody was fine, fortunately. But yeah, I mean, Ruben's very passive. So fortunately, even though the one dog was like, hey, get the fuck off of me, I'm going to show my aggression, Ruben like backed off and didn't become another aggressor. Because I try to break those up, and I have 5 stitches scarred into my finger from one of those dog fights. Thankfully, it's not any more than 5. It was a easy, quick hospital trip. But Daddy Red remembers that one because he's the one that they all got to take me to the hospital on New Year's Eve one year, and I was just a child. I was like 10 or 11 years old or something like that. And yeah, got in the middle of a dog fight. But I love our dogs. Anyways, springtime. You guys using dogs to protect your cannabis plants? Ruben wants to tear ours across the yard, so ours are hidden from him. But
you're protecting the cannabis plants from your protector.
Cannabis plants from the dog.
He loves pots.
Just likes pots.
So he does everything. He'll dump the pot out. He'll rip apart within it, and then he just wants to eat the pot.
You guys don't even worry about locking up your chickens. They do the same thing. You got a dog that does it.
Dude,
does he eat the physical pot, or is he eating like top dressings or something? Like you have crab meal or something.
The pot, like the actual plastic. He just wants a plastic pot. Fortunately,
maybe he's a real big, hippie dog, and he doesn't like the idea of plastic.
He prefers the soil blocks, definitely.
Get them in the ground.
I haven't been able to mess with the cedar boards lately. I'm trying to make some small cedar pots, and I'll get there, Ruben. Trust me, I will. I don't like plastic either. He really dude. I fucked up. I gave him a plastic frisbee. There's plastic everywhere, all over the yard. I'm like, dude, our yard is like the plastic free yard. It'd be like, yeah, we plant in plastic, but there's like no shavings. There's like, I feel nice that there's not like trash everywhere. You know what I mean? Took a long time to get all the little M&M bags and shit out of the garden spaces and stuff. And just you find random shit all at when I moved into this house, it took me years. Every time I would rake a new corner, there would just be years worth of like bags and just random shit. So I finally got it all out, but the dog puts it all back in. It's a cycle. It's a cycle of life. It's a cycle of petroleum. So there it is. A couple hundred years ago.
Petroleum. At least you're reusing it, right? You're using a waste product. Rusty Nails had a question for me. RSO question: what's a good carrier that can thin it out and help taste? I answered in chat before I realized the second part of the question, but I said any fat or oil like MCT oil or coconut oil or butter, but it's not going to improve the taste much. It'll thin it out, but to improve the taste, I would worry about thinning. I mean, unless you need to thin it out to reduce the potency as well, but you can put it in capsule. You can go to most pharmacies and just buy these empty capsules. Just put it in a capsule and swallow it. And you don't have to taste it at all.
That's what we do with ours. Is you can sort of see. I don't know. It probably looks pretty dark, but in the daylight, it's got almost a little bit more of a brownish to it, amberish to it. But it's MCT oil, and we do about 10% MCT oil. So we had about 10 milliliters to every 100 milliliters of raw oil we have, and it ends up once it homogenizes, which is what's really nice is homogenizes, and then we run it then through another like say 180 200 micron mesh screen. You can get some of the additional particulate waxes.
Yeah, you can take those
burnt plant material, whatever in there. Yeah, all that stuff. So we run the finished mixture through a filter again.
Oh, nice.
Get it all out. Because we end up finding a random particulate in there, whether shit that's in the Bunkner funnel mist, even though we run through that. And then, you get all those like whatever waxes and oil, whatever they are, lipids, fats and stuff that end up burning to the side of like the Pyrex container during the the heat off, or during the purging, getting all the alcohol out, and then you end up getting all that burnt particulate in there. So that's the MCT oil. Just that little bit of thinning does a lot. Yeah. Really, it really helps working in the syringe. That's for sure.
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for just to improve the taste, I would just say don't worry about it. Just remove the taste by putting it in a capsule. You can use this syringe. The syringe is real easy into the capsule. You push out your dose. You take it. You don't taste anything at all. But if you're looking to try to like make an edible or something, then yeah, you can look for other things to dissolve it into. He was saying molasses, honey or molasses. I've seen it done both ways. I'm just not sure how it's done.
I
keep it mixed.
I want to continue this conversation here, but I'm going to tangent back to the dog thing real quick, because while we were talking about that, I had to download a video from April to share that I'm correcting myself, because I say my dogs don't like water, but they one of them just likes to find water on its own and come back soaked. And that happened today. And I didn't take a video from today, but I did take a video, like I said, from a few months ago. Where's this window? I don't even know if that's it. Let's find out. Oh, there it is. So she has found a pond to just soak in and get out of the heat in, I guess. She doesn't go on the beach, like won't go in the water at the beach or the lake if I like try my hardest.
I want this pond.
I don't know if she's hunting or fishing.
Hunting.
So yeah, I just had to share that because she just doesn't get the water, hits the water unless like no one's looking, I guess. But in any case, so I have a question regarding RSO, because you know how I like my definitions and trying to define extracts and whatnot. I think we're all somewhat familiar with the traditional way RSO is made, and I think we're probably in agreement that the kind of traditional form of RSO is, mostly whole plant, kind of broken down with ethanol or some version of alcohol and purged off, and you're left with like a certain viscosity of oil, right? I want to know from your guys' opinion whether or not a live resin product that's been converted into I'll just say a RSO type product, where the benefits, where the pros and cons are to that. So basically, if I was to take my live resin extract and decarb it, filter it if necessary, I guess it's already dewaxed, but really just decarb it and then put it into a capsule or a syringe or a similar type product that RSO would go into, what would that be called? And what are is it missing something? Is there any added benefits there?
Call them rosin caps. Rosin capsules.
Or it's not rosin.
Resin capsules.
Resin capsules.
Resin capsules. That's what I'd call it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's the very same. It sounds like it's another version of a full extract oil to me. It's just used a different solvent. It's the only reason it's called.
What it is. It's resin. So call it what it is, and you put it in a capsule.
RSO because Rick Simpson, coined his methodology, which nowadays, his methodology has changed over time, and no longer uses naphtha, and isopropyl is not in the favored ingredient either. And there's so many ways to extract alkaloids, not even cannabinoids, just alkaloids out of the cannabis plant, or any plant for that matter. I think when you're using something like what you have going on, where you're getting a full extraction, hydrocarbon is taking most everything. Otherwise, like, we could take a water soluble version, then we could take a oil soluble version, and then we could hit it with the with the alcohol and take all three. But then you're like, I think you're getting the best of all three worlds though by taking a hydrocarbon. From my understanding, that's gonna take almost everything. I think that's gonna take. I don't know. Does it take the water solubles? Does hydrocarbon take everything? Is it complete extraction?
Again, it depends on like temperatures and things, and certain blends of hydrocarbons that you're using, pressures, and there's a lot, of course, variables that go into that. But I would say it's just a more encompassing method than water, and it's more flexible than alcohol, but alcohol is pretty good at extraction, honestly.
It's really good at extraction. And oil's really good at extraction too, especially because when you're dealing with a high fat oil, the cannabinoids that we're searching and most of the terpenes being lipids themselves work as well. And I think that the difference is the amount of time that we're talking that it could take, right?
Yes, because if you got a nug and you're going to try to force oil through that, man, it's like, good luck.
You're not going to force it. But over time, the trichomes, they're going to break down and they're going to absorb.
And heat would help, right? Like, pressure and heat would probably help.
All that stuff helps. And so I think that what we're dealing with is we're actually dealing with different products. You know what I mean? We're dealing with full plant extracts, but we're going to be getting different alkaloids extracted. We're going to be getting different plant metabolites. Just like you said, yours is already getting dewaxed, only under perfect conditions. If I freeze both my material, and I'm not working in a freezer space. I don't have I'm not using liquid nitrogen or dry ice or anything like that. I'm using ice cubes. I'm keeping my material cold and frozen while they mix. I'm doing the best that I can, but I'm not going to achieve in my space what you're doing. You probably could get pretty close running alcohol, but you're still, when you're doing alcohol, there's like this open air exchange of moving things around where you're in this closed system that just, you know what I mean? Where the solvent.
But even with alcohol, you could do it in a closed system, like with a rotovap or something like that. Like where, maybe not fully enclosed.
To get the material away from the alcohol, yeah. You know what I mean? You have to do the filter. You got to do like a filtering process, where yours is like almost all encompassed filter column thing that you force the solvent through. And
yeah, the thing with my methodology though, in terms of exactly what I'm doing, is I'm going for that quality. So I for sure am leaving some behind, so to speak. And I don't think under heat with like an ethanol that you're going to be leaving a whole lot behind. That's why I think alcohol might even be a more efficient process than what I'm doing. Now, that being said, I can change my methodology and make it way more efficient. You're just not going to have the same quality. And that's one of those hard pills to swallow for really growers, honestly.
So earlier today, I actually made some water. I put some stems in a boiling water and came up with about a quart of this. And I was thinking about making a Kool-Aid. Is there anything I could do different to maybe up my concentrate, or is it just depends on how much product I use? Maybe when I put it in there, do you think, or what else could I do, I guess, with this kind of product, I suppose?
You could let it concentrate, just boil off the water, and whatever, everything else will leave. As it concentrates down, it's just going to be more concentrated what's left. But I don't know how else to do with water. I don't work with water much. I don't know.
You let it sit there for a couple of weeks and just let it air evaporate without hitting, room temperature. It'll take a long time, but it'll eventually evaporate.
I'll just experiment with it right now.
Otherwise, you'd have to cook it off, like Spartan said.
Gotcha.
Like decarb in the process, though.
You'd be applying heat to it. You'd be decarbing it. You'd be
I mean, that makes it active.
Well, he
just to get it
boiled,
down to
boiled
drinkable
the
water.
stems to begin with, so it's already been probably deep.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
In water though, so I don't know how. I think you're going to be getting water solubles, but I don't think you're going to be getting like THC, which specifically needs to be decarbed. So I don't know if decarbing is going to matter in this sense, but it might matter for some of the water solubles. I mean, we have no idea.
What
We
are
don't know the
water
testing on
solubles?
cannabis. I don't know. I don't know water soluble cannabinoids. I know that most of the terpenes and most of the cannabinoids are lipids themselves. I don't know. I'm sure chlorophyll, water soluble. I don't know. I don't know of any other alkaloids in cannabis aside. I'm sure there's plant metabolites and minerals. I'm sure there's tons of minerals that you're going to get going into there. I'm sure that there's proteins and all kinds of good stuff in the plant tissue that you're going to get water soluble. Just like if you were to make a tea, like a hot beverage tea, you're going to get all the good stuff. You're going to get antioxidants. You're going to get beneficial ingredients that are good for you. If you let it sit around long enough, you're going to get lactic acid and it's going to ferment and get all funky. I mean, it's like anything else, right? It's just, I don't know how much of the cannabinoid you're going to get, but if that's even necessary, I mean, so what? You're getting tons of other good stuff, I'm sure. I mean, just plant material in general is good for you. Chlorophyll is good for you, and all that stuff is generally good for you. Not necessarily in high doses, but like generally good for you. It's good as antioxidants. They're good for just basic stress on your body, relief from those stressors, oxidative stress specifically. But yeah, I think you're going to get minerals, whatever minerals go up in that plant that are calcium and all that other good stuff you'll get.
I always like throwing the leaves in my smoothies.
Yeah, I like
I haven't done it in a while, but
we put them in our soup. When we make soup, we'll put a leaf in there. Juicing fan leaves, although very cumbersome, like difficult to do, it's troublesome. It like takes a lot of, there's very, very like low water content in those leaves. They dry and crisp up really fast. But you can get some juice out of them, and there's some claim that juice helps a lot of people out. So I would put forth, the effort to try to, if you're into juicing or use things like chlorophyll and stuff like that for your health, you're definitely going to get it out of cannabis.
Apparently cannabis stem tea is a thing, so there are some benefits to it. Something's coming out.
Yeah, maybe you've already got the tea there. You just need to warm it up and throw some honey in it,
It is
Compost my leaves. I use them to feed my other plants. I don't eat them so much. I've eaten them raw. But,
feed them to the chickens.
I was gonna say, man, those chickens love them, bro.
yeah,
They get
they're more tough. I know I'm sure it's healthy. It's just they're more tough because it's like hemp is more tough of a leaf. I don't know how good it would be in a salad.
It's variety dependent, dude. I've had some that are absolutely god awful, like fibrous and bitter, and like they're just like some are like really spicy, like arugula spicy, and then I've had them that are like more like lettuce and like a little bit sweeter actually. And actually,
Clementine is like that, man.
in flower, they're much more like fibrous, and it's definitely one of those things like you want them like a young leaf. Like now we're picking tea leaves, so we're taking our strawberry leaves for tea, but we're not going to the old crusty strawberries. We're going to our fresh, bright, vibrant green strawberry leaves, not those old dark forest green ones. And the pine tips, you get the brand new fresh growth pine tip. You don't get the old last season's pine tips.
I like the sorry, go ahead, Becca.
I was just going to say, I was reading more about this article about stem tea, and it said that those molecules will be in there, but they don't have anything to bind to, so they can't cross your blood-brain barrier. But if you like added hot milk or
Some sort of fat.
coconut milk, butter,
Yeah.
something to it, then it'll bind to it.
Bang. I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's BHANG. Bang. Bang Lassi. Which is basically a cannabis tea. It's from India, and it's a cannabis tea with milk. Lassi, I believe, is the milk version of that. And what they do is they make cannabis tea, and they add milk to it. And I don't know if they steep it in the milk or if the milk's hot, but I know that adding the milk is part of the process and part of the binding. And it may actually be the hot tea and adding a cold milk to it just as the binder. But yeah, there's Bang Lassi, and indica is just cannabis from India. It's just the varietals of cannabis from India. I mean, it's really just a regional description of the plant. And I mean, Indian cannabis was studied for a really long time in the late 1800s, and a man named William O'Shaughnessy kind of really did a lot of the founding research on like CBD. Not CBD, but indica cannabis and bringing those high THC varietals into kind of the the hemp varietal matrix, if you will. Otherwise, we were kind of seeing cannabis from South America, which was like European hemp, basically, through trade routes and stuff like that. And then he found that they were getting like these great medicinal effects in India. Their pharmacopoeia had the Bang Lassi used as headache medicine, all kinds of stuff, right? And it kind of brought that Eastern medication thing back to the Western world, Europe, and ultimately the United States, and that's when a lot of the cannabis indica tinctures and oils and stuff would be found on the shelves, where they had a much more of a high THC varietal rather than these lower THC, narrow leaf varietals that were coming up from the South. And it's cool, interesting, like the name William follows me around. So I really like that. Like Bill Mollison, William Mollison. I don't know if he's a William or not, but his name's Bill. I can only assume it's a William, but he's a permaculture guy, just like little things like that, right? And it seems that name is just out in the natural world a lot. My mentor as a child was named Bill, pretty interesting stuff. Cheers to all the Bills and Williams out there. My grandfather's name was William. I also share a name somewhere within mine as that as well.
Do you think if you had a son right this moment, you'd call him Bill?
We've talked about it. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry to put you on the spot, but
it didn't sound positive.
No.
Becca said no.
I
Maybe
have a
a middle
grandfather
name.
that I'm like not that close with that's named that, so it'd be kind of weird if I chose that name.
I get that.
There's a lot of Bills,
It's-
man.
Naming kids is hard, and I will say I feel like naming boys is a little bit easier because it's a more common thing to take after someone else's name or whatever. When you're coming up with girls' names, it's like, all right, maybe you might name like a middle name or something after someone in your family, but it just feels like it needs to be a little bit more original, or maybe that's just my perspective on things. But yeah, I don't know. It's just more challenging to come up with girl names, I think.
There's just a lot of pressure on it, I think.
That's true too.
About like you've met somebody with probably most names that you're thinking about, right? So
Mhm.
it's like, okay,
Just immediately connected to their
experience with that one person, so you don't want to name your kid that. Like it's just never-ending things. So many names. But I think opposite. I think girl names are easier, but maybe it's because I'm a girl. I
to
don't know.
commit to a girl name, really?
Yeah, I've got more like girl names that I would choose from than boy names. I couldn't think of a boy name.
So maybe you shouldn't be
Bill.
so judgy about Bill. Yeah.
I think Bill's a great name.
I like Will more than Bill.
Well, it's just short for Will, and Will is short for William. So
That's up to old Billy.
If I had to pick
Billy
between
decided
the two, I
Billy
would pick
Bob.
Bill or Will.
No, we cannot be
Just
Bill.
recent names.
Obsessed with Billy Strings.
There's another William, man. William Apostle.
Did
There's
I-
William
I-
Apostle Jr.
Did I tell you guys who the I think he's still the current like, I don't even know what you call him, like the traveling band photographer or whatever is for Billy Strings. Did I tell you who that is?
Who?
No.
It's so the band photographer for Billy Strings is Jesse Fatz. Jesse Fatz is or was the High Times photographer and the one that captured like my moments and stuff on stage, and was the photographer for years, traveling all the cups and stuff. I DM'd with him several months ago about trying to recover a picture from that 2019 Cup, and he didn't respond right away, but I started going through his profile. I was like, holy shit, he's the Billy Strings photographer. Like, how little a small world that is,
He doesn't do like every single show, but he does a lot because he also does all kinds of other bands all the time. I
was gonna say he's always worked outside of the High Times Cannabis Cup too and stuff, doing a lot of like shows or bands and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's not like his full-time gig. But yeah, I mean, shout out to him. He's always put out some great photography, worked in our space and common spaces that we're familiar with clearly. And actually he did DM me back. I should say he did DM me back a couple weeks after that. And I was like, hey man, next time I'm through, we need to hook up. I'm like, yeah, let's link up, dab down.
Be away, man. Don't tempt me. I'm going to break up your party.
Well, I was bummed I didn't, because Billy Strings was just at like DTU or Pine Knob or one of those places, like, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. I'm like,
last summer.
Yeah. I'm like, dang, I wish I kind of made that connection beforehand. It would have been a lot easier to probably catch him.
Well, we'll just wait until he's coming back on tour.
We're lying in wait, Jesse. We're lying in wait.
Are you coming with Billy? Like, you just throw it in nonchalantly.
We were trying to figure it out how many times we saw him live, and I think it was like, what was it, six times?
Oh, nice. Fuck. Which what was the best show? Where was it at?
The most recent one at Van Andel was probably the best one because
Becca disagrees.
Well, I just think it was a great
crazy
stage performance.
Crazy.
It was a 5-hour show. Yeah.
Jeez.
I think it was probably, it tops the list of one of the best shows I've been to, and I've been to a lot of concerts.
It was just so themed. It was like really Halloween themed.
Okay.
It was fucking awesome. It was so good.
Yeah,
like, they just kept coming out as like wrestlers and like
we had great seats too. We had really good spots.
They had an actual like dueling banjos in the middle of a wrestling ring. I mean, it was just so fucking awesome.
Blue Kiss was there.
Yeah, we hung out with Blue Kiss.
She drove us. That was pretty cool.
The fairy weed mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had the dabs for days.
We got a ride from the ganja weed fairy.
My favorite show was at the Fillmore, because it was a smaller venue, and I really that's when I like really fell in love with his music, because it was just really encompassing and like you could feel the music, and I was tripping a little bit. It was just a fun. And
it was different for me too when I went to that same one, and he like did things different than what I was expecting when I went there. It wasn't just bluegrass; it was all over the place.
And he ended with like Midnight Rider or something, and I just thought it was so badass. Like, it was just a good show.
We were up in the mezzanine for that one. We were like nosebleeds. We were in like the very last row for that show.
Smoking doobies. It was a grand.
Very last row of the fucking. I got like 20.
We went outside an intermission. That little side. There's a little side door you can go out. We went out there and passed around a couple joints.
It's like the only person smoking doobies. I'm used to like being able to like camouflage myself in the cloud, you know what I mean? And it was just a sea of like little blinking vape pens, and I'm like,
there's clouds up closer to them
robotic like vape clouds, and I'm back here.
That's funny.
It's so little, but like, hey,
I thought it was just
those Detroit venues.
That was an awesome show.
I know
that his light show for that show was awesome too.
The Pine Knob show was good. We were just so far away, and it was just such a stark difference in like the shows that I'd seen, being up closer and like really feeling the music, and then like being on the hill and like not being able to see him at all, not barely seeing the screens, you know, and I just felt like a little disassociated from it.
When's the next show?
He doesn't have any in the area.
He's in Illinois at the end of this tour, which I think is like in June or July or something.
So many shows pass up Michigan. It's kind of crazy. I want to share one that I'm interested in. I've bought tickets for, but I'm a huge fan. Both Maz Hoopat and I are huge fans of Soja, and they're kind of along the lines of like Stick Figure, Revolution, you know, bands like that. We've seen them a couple times, traveled to like Grand Rapids and stuff, but they haven't been in Michigan in a long time, and they got nominated for an Emmy at the like beginning of the pandemic, and we're like, oh well, shit, there goes those ticket prices, you know. But
Yeah.
I just looked at their tour, and there's one, and I think this is Thornville, Ohio. Does that sound familiar, Nuttree? I don't know where Thornville is. But
Yeah, Thornville. There's a theater down there.
it's got Stick Figure, Soja, and Revolution.
That's
couple
where
other-
I went to the Workout down there in Thornville. Workout Music Festival was at that. Does it say what music amphitheater it's at?
The Everwood.
Legend Valley. Yeah, that's a pretty cool place. They had like on-site camping. We did like a 3-day music festival. They had car camping. They had all kind. We didn't do car camping. We just did the good old-fashioned camping. But yeah, a couple nice little stages, and then they set up like a big tent stage. So it's big enough to hold like 3 stages. It's a decent venue, pretty solid little venue.
Good to know.
Main stage is small. Yeah.
Well, you might find us there.
It looks like it's just
Weekend?
East of
Is that
Columbus.
a weekend festival?
Mhm.
Sorry. Yes, it is a festival. It's called the Everwilm, I think, music festival. And sorry, Nuttree, what did you say?
It's just east of Columbus. It's probably
Oh, okay. Well, I just met up with a friend from Columbus yesterday. I know we've got some fans down there, and I want to talk about this as soon as Terry gets back, if she does. But ooh-wee, we got some collab.
for sure.
How is it?
You tell me. Nuttree.
Oh,
Not you, Becca.
I haven't tried it.
Becca's like, I have no idea. I don't know.
It's good. It's good. Very good.
I want to go through each one of them. I haven't tried them all yet, to be honest.
You haven't.
No. There's
Yeah.
the
Cowboy cherry.
Yummy.
Got some cherry Paloma flavor there with a little bit of Cowboy Yeti.
yeah. Why don't you describe it for us as I go?
This
This one's super terpy.
it's a little bit thicker than the regular Cowboy Yeti. It seems to be a little runny yet. I don't know if it's the Cowboy Yeti just is that terpy maybe, or
I'm thinking so, dude. Because it
pretty
didn't whip up like these ones.
yeah, but when you mix it up with the cherry, though, it thickens it up pretty good. And Tara actually said she was a fan of I don't know if it was the flower here lately, but of the cherry Paloma, and she usually doesn't like the orange terps, that the cherry Paloma kind of has on it.
Mhm.
But there's definitely a little bit of orangey, and then I always called it like a hash church smell. It's I don't know how to describe with the Cowboy Eddie smell. It's unique, definitely. And then what did you just show off there? Was that Bubba Cookies?
Yeah, I went through them all. Shadow Sugar and Bubba Cookies, but
Bubba Cookies is pretty strong. I would say it's the it's Pink Death Bubba and the Chem Cookies.
it's a funky one, bro. It's so funky, this Bubba Cookies.
Definitely with the two of those, it's a good combination as well. But I'd say the strength on that one is probably the strongest out of all of them. With maybe the Chem Cookies being the pretty strong.
Ooh. The Shadow Sugar smells. It's sweet like sugar, bro. It smells like cookie dough or something.
Yeah, there's definitely
What do you remember the Shadow Sugar?
would have
what
been
those strains were?
Storm Shadow and Sugar Cone. Sugar Cone was bag seed from Chiba Hawk seeds, and then Storm Shadow obviously came through Dan,
So sweet.
Thunder Dan, and then Thinkman Dan also got it through them. But Storm Shadow, yeah, it's a very good combination there. Very sweet.
Can name our kid Dan.
There you go.
After
Much
Dankman Dan.
rose to my family too.
Where's Dankman Dan been?
Yeah, no, he
Shout
did
out,
give
buddy.
me a shout out. Yeah, I seen he posted some, what was it, GG4 and Chem Cookies mix that he put together there that looked pretty good. Shout out to Dan. Yeah, we miss him. He's been under the weather, I think, sore throat, and just not been feeling the best, I guess, lately. So
Feel better, Dan.
gets to get better, yeah, for sure.
Definitely big shouts. Do you guys want to talk about the upcoming Third Eye?
Third Eye.
We are
Third Eye.
Sunday.
Sunday.
A week from today.
Back
Well,
in Lumpton. Oh yeah. Well, we'll get to that, Spartan. Hold the phone on your travels, Mr. Pimping all over the world.
Pimpin'.
It's another outdoor event, so come prepared. The sun will shine, the rain may shine as well, since it shimmers after it falls. And then you might see a rainbow. But no, we're hoping for great weather as always. Dress casual. It is at a farm, so wear your sneakers that you're gonna get dirty. Possibly you're gonna be walking.
I'm bringing boots this time. Last time I rocked out in Crocs and no socks, and I got some grass up in my toes.
That's why I ran around barefoot. That's what I did. I kicked off them bad boys because
Yeah,
I
might as well.
was getting soaking wet, and I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna go barefoot. So I'd put flip flops on, and then they got soaking wet. So just barefoot went. And I've learned that while dangerous, barefooting actually it makes me a little more mindful. Normally I just kind of willingly just walk wherever I please, and a lot of times step on things that I may shouldn't. And when I'm walking around on my bare feet, I have a tendency to slow down and be a little more cautious.
But it's really only a problem walking on those things if you don't have shoes on, right? Most of the time.
And like if yeah, you don't.
You have to be more mindful when you don't have shoes on because you get the ouchies. I did that. I've been doing that for the last couple of days up here at my farm, and stepped on a rock yesterday. It almost collapsed. I'm pretty sure I tore my meniscus.
And then when you like go ouch and like hold
Come
your
on, that's just early training for the Legos later on.
Oh, bro, listen to this. I got a story for you. I got a Lego story for you. Okay, I'm like maybe 12 years old. All right, maybe 13. Like 8th grade, maybe going into 9th grade high school, right? I'm all up into like electronics and like cameras and all this sweet stuff back in like the late 90s, into computers, and found out about the internet in like 1995 and started playing video games online and all this stuff. But one of my earlier electronics was a PDA. Do you guys remember what that is? Doesn't work for, it's not public display of affection. No, it's not. It's, do you remember Palm Pilots?
I do, yes.
Okay, so I had a Palm Pilot. I was one of those nerds walking around with a Palm Pilot and a little stylus pen poking out of it, with the case and everything in like 8th or 9th grade. And lo and behold, I share a room with my older brother.
Hear that, Mama Red? I couldn't even get a pager in 8th or 9th grade.
A pager? Okay, that's way higher level. What are you talking? This thing didn't communicate with anybody. It just played Snake and it had a calculator on it, and maybe took some notes or whatever. But in any case, Palm Pilot. I share a room with my brother. We, of course, building Lego towns and cities all the time. And I'm walking by my bed, trying not to break into the Lego city and not, just get out of my room, I guess. And of course, in the middle of the night, I step on a Lego piece, and I do that thing where you do that when you step on a Lego. And I had my Palm Pilot in my pocket, and the case wasn't closed, and I just jumped directly into the corner of the bed, and the bedpost smashed that Palm Pilot and screen into so many pieces. And that's where I learned how much a screen replacement costs, and how they're usually more than the damn cost of the device. But guess what? I saved up my allowance and I paid it.
Yeah, dude, they would have to like forge the screens on site. You couldn't just get those things. They'd have to like go source the sand.
Yeah, they were like, I don't know, it's like the
Get us our crystal sand to make our screen. Send the cheap laborers.
so. Anyways, that's my Lego story.
Lately, we've been stepping on Ruben's bone that's like a femur bone and destroying our feet.
Kicked it. It went between two of my toes. I
Ugh.
stepped on it and stabbed the bottom of my foot. I stepped on it, twisted my ankle. I stepped on it. I slid across the kitchen floor. Did the splits. That's the last week.
Have you thought about getting rid of the bone?
It's outside. It's officially
Okay.
outside. It's
It's like
officially
you're
outside.
barefoot. Remember, you're supposed to look where you walk.
I did this to myself.
Yeah, dude. That pinky toe, man. For some reason, it's always sticking way out there, getting caught on
Got weird
snag.
Because you drink too many martinis with your toes.
Right.
Have you guys thought about outdoor yet? How are you guys all doing on outdoor?
Oh, dude, yeah. Our plants are long-hearted. Our plants have been outside for 3 weeks. We have been outside.
Tell us about it, because I'm pretty sure 3 weeks ago it was snowing here.
We
Have a greenhouse.
It's been in the 40s down there. They've been okay. Well, it's unheated, so it gets the frost won't settle. I think we survived a frost out there.
If you're covered, it seems like you could, though, right?
We went out after the last Third Eye Craft Affair, whatever date that was. So we brought home our clones from the Third Eye Craft Affair. They didn't go back in our home or our grow room. They went out into our greenhouse.
Gotcha.
So ever since they've been out there, we actually started bringing out our Pheno Hunt plants. Our Pheno Hunt that you guys may have remembered us doing in soil blocks back in like February, early March, something like that. The clones of those now they're actually about to go into flower. They're big plants, and we've gotten mothers taken off of those. So we have like 3 different generations off those plants already taken, and the original seed mothers are in the greenhouse now. Those will be going outdoor.
We've got some good stuff though going into flower. We've got a couple Tahiti limes, 2 phenos of that. I don't know if we're sure that they're female though.
Or not. All the other ones are female.
And then we've got a rose gold, which is the Pineapple Express
In
and
Moonbow.
Moonbow.
Yeah.
And then
There's a couple of
some
those.
dub bubs.
Dub Bub, which is like a Bubba Kush and Dozy Do. And they've got these little, they've like smell like Bubba already. Like they smell like Granddaddy does. It's kind of cool. Well, actually one's growing like it too, where it's just not growing fast. It's super slow. And I'm like, oh, that's the Bubba. And then in veg right behind that, there's some more of the rose gold. One of them's really funky. There's some golden goat. We got like 2 golden. One of the golden goats gotten really big. There's some rainbow belts has not come up yet. We actually took a bunch of clones while we had a couple clones with roots in the cloner, right? You have like a DWC style cloner, just air stones, and it just really wasn't as clean as we would have liked to have. And we got some Pythium really bad, really fast right out the gates. So went back through and took all new clones, filled up that cloner with this next round of, we got like 8 different rainbow belts clones that we're running. We try to do a solid pheno hunt with those.
Is that a strain that you'd be interested in releasing? Because I've been informed that it's pretty popular in Ohio right now, just FYI.
Yeah,
Or certain parts
we're going to try to find a keeper and see what happens with that. Whether or not we release our keeper, we'll probably release one of them, see what ends up going out there.
We'll see what we find.
Yeah.
It's hard to know.
That one's been,
It's pretty popular, I swear.
yeah, that one's been more than a little popular. That one's been one of those. And I got those. These are the original drop of those. This isn't the Rainbow Belts 2.0.
Nice.
This is original Rainbow Belts, which is Moonbow 75. Which a lot of people might not know the difference between the Moonbows that Archive was using, but Moonbow 75 was the keeper Moonbow. That was like the skunk Moonbow.
Skunk Mumbo.
Yeah, the skunky funky. I might be wrong with the skunk, but it was the funky one. It was the good one. Burnt rubber, something like that. I don't know.
Do you think Skunk's gonna make a comeback?
It,
Or even
dep-
just
it depends on if the genetics will be lost due to washability or not.
I just have
I
a
didn't say
like you. I haven't seen very many skunk varieties around.
No.
Papa McCormick right now on his webpage.
Who? Where?
ABC Co.
Blow it up.
I've got some actually in my little drawer right here.
You should probably pop them,
Yeah.
dude. Let's go. It's
Not
2024.
interested. It's not interested to me right now.
Yeah,
I got the sweet skunk and the regular.
I got Roadkill Skunk from Ethos from 2019 or something.
And they're affordable pricings too. You charge a lot for them.
Can you flash me that mohawk real quick?
Is that
How
a
do you
seed,
Spartan?
is that a seed drawer, Spartan? Is that a seed drawer?
Yeah,
Is that
this
a
is-
whole seed
these are
drawer?
the yeah, but I also have a refrigerator downstairs.
Spartan,
These are
what's
just like
under that
recent.
hat?
Do what?
What's under that hat? I want to see it.
Under my hat?
Uh-huh.
Nothing.
Turn around. I saw it coming out the back. Okay. All right.
Oh.
I just wanted to see where I thought it was a mohawk. I thought it was a full
Oh no,
mohawk.
it started to be a mohawk. That's what it started.
Okay.
At.
All right. Just checking.
It's just grown out since then. I got original skunk #1, original haze, purest indica. What's this one? Original haze times Northern Lights #2, skunk #1 times Northern Light #2, and that's all I got.
Isn't Northern Lights got popular because it's just like it seemed to be like the beginner strain. Is that true?
No, it's not a beginner strain. It's a good fucking strain, man.
Well, when
So,
I started growing, it was like the most recommended strain to people starting out growing. Maybe it was just common at the time.
It was the hype
Bone.
stream at the time or whatever. The one that was
Okay.
popular, probably.
Okay.
But Buddy from Clio Cultivation, he's got a cut of Northern Lights that he swears helps him with his asthma, and he gives it
Oh.
up to anybody else who has asthma.
Interesting. I have family members that have sports-induced asthma, which I didn't think was a thing until it was explained to me. And it's like,
Oh,
oh
wow.
shit, that sucks.
Yep, I would get a hold of Buddy if you're looking for Northern Lights #5.
Hmm.
Or I don't know if he's got #5, but he's got Northern Lights.
Whatever it is, yeah. It's good to know. I mean, that's the beauty of this plant, man. It's just like people get weird when you kind of start explaining how many ailments it can help with because they're like, oh, what is this, like a cure-all? It sounds like you're selling me snake oil or some bullshit right now. It's like, oh, it's not just like the one, you don't just go buy a bag from the guy on the corner and expect it to heal everything. Like it's not like that, but there's a lot of uses. But it just
Robert
varies.
says it is a Northern Light 5, and he's had the cut for 5 or 10 years now.
Nice.
So that's the guy has got to talk to for the Northern Lights or something.
Becca, I've been smoking on that Cobra Milk flower the last couple days. Whew. Oh no, it's gone.
Got my last one. My last one geared up.
I don't have a backup of that. I got that one got cut out.
Really?
It was
Yeah.
one dabble.
I brought in Banana Conda instead.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep it going, man. I'm a huge
banana
fan of that Cobra
condoms?
Milk. I appreciate it.
No problem, man.
5 minutes till hash time. 5 minutes.
For real though, like I
Fine.
pulled some out earlier today. Actually, I've got I can't really show it, but yeah, this is just the returns that we got on the Cowboy Yeti and whatnot. But I got a little got a little flour left over there from rolling a joint earlier, and I don't know, man. It's just that like Trix Fruity Pebbles smell is just, it's so sticky. The plant is, it's got such nice little dense, like
Always just real dense buds for sure, and they're pretty. There wasn't just one color. It was usually two, like
man,
different shades.
for sure, and definitely frosty, definitely dense, like sticky as fuck. I don't know. I really enjoy it. I enjoy it as an extract. I enjoy it as a flower. I haven't combined it with too many. Actually, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've done any combos with it yet. I I know that I'm going to be doing that probably in the next week to 2 weeks. It won't be probably for the Third Eye Craft Fair coming up, but I certainly hope to have it ready for the Michigan Gems and Genetics, which we should talk about too. But I'm interested to see how it does as like a combo, because it's so different than everything else I have, you know. I'm curious to know if it will kind of like overpower things or kind of take the backseat, or
It's one of my favorites to like mix with another strain.
okay.
I've been mixing up lately, doing some more artistry with my
Oh
dad.
yeah.
And one of my favorites is the Cobra Milk dipped in like the Grape Fun Dip terps.
Okay.
So I got a saucy one, so I'll, it's a thicker one, so it just lets it kind of glob on top of it.
Of course, I don't know where the cap is right now. I
But I love doing like clementine with it. I liked that. I think that's the
That's
last
what I
one.
was thinking. Clementine, just clementine with it.
Mhm.
That might make an interesting consistency too.
Grape Fun Dip has been the one I've been mixing with a lot of things lately, because it's a pretty like heavy hitter, I feel like, and then comboing it with other things it doesn't seem to be this like situation where you have a low ceiling high, put it that way. So it seems like whatever you combine it with like compounds it. And there's been a couple times where I'm like, ooh, I'm baby stoned, like this is a whole nother level of dab, and it's like it's not like a bigger dab or hotter dab or anything like that. It's just mixing it up a little bit, you know.
Well, and you can get like a THC crystal and just like
scoop up some terps with a rock, put it in batter, throw some solventless on it, and make it I don't know, fried chicken dab.
it's fun. Especially like clementine doesn't get me as high, so I like adding that with like a heavier one. Like even I would do like garlic punch sometimes.
Clement punch it's a great combo. Yeah. I'm a fan of that one. I was just thinking I do that a lot with dabs. I've got probably a dozen jars sitting in front of me, and it's not unheard of. And multiples are solventless, and it's not unheard of that you just kind of mix and match, right? Throwing it in the dabber, it's pretty easy to do. Is it just me, or do you do that with flour so much less?
Way less.
It's just you. I mix up flour on my tray all the time.
Different varieties in front of me, and I prefer to just not mix them. Like I'll have 2 on my rolling tray. Every now and then I'll finish breaking up a different bud and mix it together. Usually I don't. I don't really like to stick it because it's an effect thing. I'll usually have a bud from what I smoked the night before, and I don't want to smoke that during the day.
Yeah, usually what I'm doing is I'll grind something up and smoke it. Then maybe smoke a couple bowls of it and then push it to the side, and then I want a different flavor, so I grind something up. And so at the end of the day, I've got that mix on the trim tray that I'm just going to blow through before I go to bed.
Okay.
That's smart. I like to do that when I'm making pre-rolls. I always like grind up a bit more than I actually need because I'll use a bit more. And then I save that, and then I'll mix it all together and make like a blend.
One
Make
for
the house
you,
blend.
one for you, one for me.
We did do some blended joints
Like
you?
strawberries
at an
and
event before where we were like mixing strawberries and cream and citric and stuff like that.
Should do more.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should do that too.
So I splurged and picked up a new, since it's dab time, picked up a new dab device. Look how small this thing is.
That's pretty cool.
travel
Looks just like a nicotine vape, but
And
it's
it's a
called
dabber, not a
yeah. Oh yeah, it uses this. It's the 3D chamber. Uses the same.
Cool.
It's got its own app.
Oh, dang. Fancy pantsy.
So I think there's a reason why you don't see much flour getting mixed at like big corporations. For one, it's harder to pass testing to get both of them. Because I was a big fan of it at Classic Roots, and I was trying to get them to maybe do a mix or some type of pre-roll with a couple.
Oh yeah, you can't do that with
No, you can't. You gotta have, unless you want to pay them to test it like a bunch of different times, and then by then it's not really profitable.
Right. Especially for a fucking pre-roll. Holy shit.
So yeah. but we did make a few, just to try it, and it was definitely. I'm a fan of. It's like a full spectrum, like more cannabinoids in there, and just like try different things until you can come up with different flavors and things like that. It's great. It's, like Spartan says, use some scraps from the last time or whatever you have on the tray, or I like to call my 7-layer salad. I got 7 different kinds on one. I'll make, sometimes, and call it
7-layer dip. I like it.
7-layer burrito is my jam, dude. Most people don't even know that Taco Bell has a 7-layer burrito. I don't eat Taco Bell. I haven't eaten Taco Bell in like over 2 years, but they have a 7-layer burrito. And if you don't know what the 7-layer burrito is, it has rice and beans and guacamole and onions.
You can get
and
guacamole
tomatoes
at Taco
and
Bell?
sour cream. You can get the 7-layer burrito.
Guacamole.
Quotes, because that's what it is. It's like mostly sour cream. It's like green sour. It's green sour cream. Who am I kidding?
It's like
Yeah,
chickpeas colored or something.
Mama Red turned me on to that when I was a young buck, dude, and I've since then, and like I've gone to like Taco Bell's. Like, do you carry a 7-layer burrito? 7-layer burrito. All right, and then like
Look it up, make it. I know what's on the
in the
menu.
computer. It's there. It's always there. It's just like not. I don't know.
That was my version of that was the cheesy gordita crunch, because in high school it came out, and then it was one of those limited time deals where it just all of a sudden wasn't on the menu, but they could still make it. You just had to ask for it.
Yeah,
and so apparently that's like a quote unquote secret menu type situation.
Crunch
and of
wrap.
course it's back and forth ever since, but
The crunch
Fire.
wrap was that way for a long time too, until they put the crunch wrap on the menu because it
really
was limited time deals.
I'll tell you what, I was a big fan of the crunch wrap until Mazu Pot made them at home, and we did a homemade crunch wrap supreme. You fucking can't hold
I
torch
saw
a
something-
candle to that shit, bro. Like, it is so good. Fuck Taco Bell. It's just
I want tacos.
Yeah,
it's not Tuesday.
True.
Mama Red was getting dinner for more than a couple people, right? And
Three.
she was talking about
More than 2 is 3, all right, Becca.
say the number, you know what I mean?
But it's crazy.
They spent like
Story.
almost 40 something bucks at Taco Bell for a couple people. I'm like, man, dude,
You
that's
get like a couple things.
More than a couple.
good. That's just
Yeah, prices have skyrocketed. I keep seeing articles about like McDonald's pricing. I'm sure it's all easily trackable, but McDonald's probably being the most popular restaurant. There's a lot of like data to pull from, and I don't remember what it is, but it's like it's beating inflation by a significant amount. The prices.
it's crazy because it's not even quality food. You know what I mean?
It's consistent. I'll
it's-
tell you that much, man. I'll tell you that much.
Convenience. In today's world, you're paying mostly for convenience. It's everything from the hardware store to the grocery store. It's convenience that you're paying for. It's in the lack of pain also, because you'll pay more money for less convenience. But you'll pay more money for probably better customer service, because that lack of convenience comes with very little customer service.
Where can you find customer service nowadays?
Little-
Honestly,
Nowhere. No, doesn't exist.
The Grandmaster level LEDs.
hey, pew, 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 pew.
Can't have family.
Very headed to.
Michigan-based company,
I'm going-
Family Farm and Home, is very friendly service.
There
We
you
got some
go.
of them around here.
There's some out there. We're going to Toronto. We're at the Grow Up Conference, so I'm leaving Friday and I'm coming back the following Thursday.
That's a nice long trip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, should be good. It's a 3-day long. Well, there's a 2-day conference and a 1-day business thing. It'll be fun. I haven't been to Toronto in a long time.
I saw on Grandmaster Levels maybe a story or a post that he was going to make an appearance here in Michigan soon. And
He's already
He was
been
already here.
He's already here, and he's left.
oh, he was here and left. Well,
Bro,
shit.
the same thing happened to me this week. I was DMing him, and I'm like, oh, I see you're gonna be in Michigan. Let's try to link up, And then like a day went by, and he's like, all right, like I think he like called me or like left me a message or something. And he's like, I'm here, like I'm in a hotel, but I think I'm gonna change hotels, blah blah. Blah. And then like the next day I see it, I'm like, hey dude, like I'm on my way back from out of town right now. And then the next day he was gone. It was just like we totally missed.
Same thing with me. I wasn't even here.
Really?
I was down in Illinois. Yeah. I'm like, you guys just tell me, man. You can't just on a whim.
Just show up.
Well,
Boss
we're
is dropping in, man.
I was gonna invite the GML crew, whoever was gonna hang out, over to the farm over here as a safe place to have a smoke session, check out some closed loop systems and stuff like that. See how we do it in Michigan. I didn't know he was on such a short schedule though.
Well,
Yeah,
we just
believe me,
need to
I
let
didn't
him know that there's an open invite to probably half a dozen homes here in Michigan. He doesn't have to worry about some shoddy hotel that he doesn't want to stay at. Like,
Yeah. Next time he's in town, we'll have a nice session.
For sure. And he'll be back because well, I don't know if I can talk about it. Well, I can say that I am going tomorrow to do go with an inspector to inspect a facility that we most likely will be getting soon.
Spartan, if it's in the same county of which you reside, we're going to be moving to this county very soon as well. So just throwing that out there, we're going to be locals.
It is.
Well,
And I will be needing, I'm sure I'll be needing help on at least situational days, like when the trucks come in. He told me he's on another one of his posts. And I didn't even know this either. I learned through the post. He's like, 2 containers, not just 1, 2 containers are we're leaving in 2 weeks for the USA. I'm like, what the?
You need a place like that fast.
What? I'm like, what?
Delivery's already scheduled. Just
Yeah. Yeah. Like, well, I got some work to do.
Communication is key.
Yeah. We usually talk on the phone, but we talk about so much stuff we don't get to everything. No, but yeah, if you guys are in Toronto and you're at the Grow Up Conference, I'm not even sure what hotel it's at yet. I have to look that stuff up. But that's where we'll be at. GML booth. I don't know the number yet for the booth.
When
Showing
is that?
up the lights. Huh?
When is that again?
It's going to be on the 28th and the 29th of May
Gotcha.
is when the conference is. Yeah.
Okay.
Should be a good time. It'd be cool to be still pretty close. You know what I mean? I think the flight was only like an hour and 15 minutes. It's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Way better than these 4-hour plane rides.
Yeah, plane rides are tough. I get so stupidly anxious just from when it's shaking. I'll be fine, and then it's just freaks me
That
out.
stuff honestly doesn't bother me too much unless it gets really crazy. But for me, is I don't like the crampedness of it all.
Yeah.
It's hard to get in a position that's comfortable. And then depending on who you have to sit next to, that could really make or break a plane ride too. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I get it from driving where I'll get to this point where I feel, I don't know if it's claustrophobic or what it is, but I feel like I feel restless. But but I'm driving, and I have to I can't kick my legs around or something. So I have to do this thing or suit my seat really, really far back. And I need cruise control on because I need to extend my legs up into the dash or something. Not on the dash, but just I have very short legs, guys. Just we're talking my legs are 24 inches tops. So
24 inches.
Yeah, you guys have seen King of the Hill, right? You know the old one there? Yeah, Cotton. Yeah. Lost them shins numb. I'm all torso, 4 feet of torso.
You're sitting on your torso right now.
I'm standing right now.
Standing in the chair. No, but I don't think I said what this was called. It's called the Aries from Carta. That's what this thing is, and it's even wireless chargeable. So if you have a wireless charger, which I do, you just set it and it starts charging, which is so cool to me.
As a fellow Aries, I haven't smoked it yet, so I don't know if
there you go.
I approve of the name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited how it looks like just a standard nicotine vape, so I could take this pretty much anywhere probably and be fine with it.
Dabs everywhere.
Yeah, that's always good stuff. I'm gonna be able to take that on the plane, no problem.
Robert said his trip from Thailand is 26 hours. Holy shit. I've been on a 13-hour flight. Is that a single? There's got to be a layover there. There's got to be they're like fueling, and you got one of those planes that flies over and fuels you while you're flying.
It's got to be a couple stops. There's no way. Yeah, he's gonna do 26 hours straight. Maybe that's insane.
Maybe, I don't know.
What do? Do they put you to bed? Do they like turn off all the lights?
Cryogenic. They freeze you cryogenically.
Oh, he's got 2 layovers. He says.
Oh,
Okay,
Jesus.
so.
Oh. Safe travels.
I bet like from Cali to Australia, I bet you that's like a 20+ hour flight probably. That's forever away.
I forget, my parents did I think it was 18 hours, I think is what they
18. Okay. Oh my God. 18. That's ridiculous.
That was like New Zealand. I think that I don't think they did a layover. I think it was like California to New Zealand. And it was like might have been a total time of 18 hours, honestly.
San Diego to Sydney is 15 and a half hours.
15 and a half.
But I know if you're coming from like Detroit, it's like 24+ hours.
What is it from Sydney to San Diego?
Good question, actually.
Southern California.
Probably a lot less.
You got to take a puddle jumper down to like Costa Rica and go over. No, because then you're probably going east.
Oh, what happened? Well, whatever website I was on is now taking me elsewhere. So hold on. I mean, it says the same thing, but it's got to be less because you're.
There's no way, yeah, because like when I went both to Berlin when I went to Europe, it was always an hour more on the way back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this says anywhere from 14 hours and 42 minutes to 18 hours and 59 minutes. So, yeah, it's quite the
4 hour
range.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Stony Creek, what's that timeline? Is that the 18? Is that the 18 hours from New Zealand to LA? It might be.
That's where these supersonic jets and stuff, the airliners are going to come in handy. Let's get there faster. Like the old Concorde, remember that?
That sucker, yeah, they what is the decommission?
They decommissioned it, but I think it's past testing. The thing they release. I don't know if it's the same design or a similar one.
Well, they probably the FAA is super, super touchy, right? So if they didn't get a single part, something, updated, or honestly, like, so every 6 months there's annual, biannual, and like every other year inspections, depending on what parts, and everything has to be inspected, and everything. Some things need upgrades. There's planes out there from I don't know. This was 10 years ago when I went through the programs and stuff, but from the 70s, a majority, like 80% of the airplanes in the sky are from the 70s.
Yeah.
They're very old. They're totally up to date. They're totally modernized. They're practically rebuilt completely. Like almost all of the sheet metal would by now have been replaced on them over time, like patches here and whole sections there, and like maybe they replaced a whole wing or something, you know what I mean, or at least enough sections of the wing to be considered a complete overhaul, because that's what I mean. Once something's been repaired so many times, it needs to be completely overhauled, and so much of a repair is considered a complete overhaul. So I mean, these planes, even though they're still in flight, I mean, they are pretty much new planes, but according to their VINs and a lot of the engine history and stuff like that, engines are most likely up to date. A lot of that,
did you get the
old
Red? Did you get some certifications or licenses or something?
Yeah, I hold a smoking a joint saying this. Airframe power plant mechanic, but I'm non-practicing.
Okay.
Well, I guess that now that cannabis is Schedule 2, I can probably talk about their Schedule 3. Well, now once it goes, it's not.
Yeah, Spartan's gonna keep letting us know it's not until it is.
Yeah,
he's like our canary in the coal mine.
I mean, he's right though. He can be kicking.
he's
It's
right.
gonna happen. It's just not happened yet. So don't.
I mean,
Yeah,
he
it's
very well could
beautiful.
just be dangling the stake in front of us running dogs, for the longest time until the election and to get himself reelected, and
then never do it.
never do it.
Yeah.
It's-
They've all done that for the last, I don't know, my adulthood.
so or doesn't get elected and the next president doesn't go through with it. Like all of this stuff could still happen. Just because he said that he will apply the executive order doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. It could happen in the next legislation section, which could never happen. So, anyways, so I have training. I worked in the industry for a while. I lost a job because of failing a drug test and stuff. But yeah, I've worked in aviation for a couple years, and I have what's known as an airframe and power plant license, which is a license to. It's basically a all-encompassing license, which is like I'm certified in welding, I'm certified in sheet metal, I'm certified in pneumatics, certified in hydraulics, I'm certified in rivet, sheet metal repair, composite, carbon fiber, vacuum sealing, all that stuff, any of that kind of stuff, windshield repair, engine, and then engine side of things, that's just airframe, right? And all of that stuff would be airframe, and then power plant would be I'm certified in turbine engines and small piston, radial engines, opposing engines. So like a Volkswagen engine, I'm certified in basically like those type engines, or radial engines, which was like a whole bunch of fucking pistons. Certified in turbine engines, which is a crossover into the windmill industry because they use turbines. Turbines, yeah. So windmills, crossover. A lot of A&P, a lot of people I went to school with were actually going into the windmill industry. Some companies were sending some of their technicians and shit like that through A&P school. Lifelong license. I hold it for life. The only way I can lose it is if it's revoked. I never have to get it recertified or anything like that. It's something I can also work on anything. So it basically says I'm certified in all those things. So I could potentially get a job working on escalators, anything that deals with hydraulics, right? Elevators, escalators, anything that deals with pneumatics, roller coasters, there you said elevators. Yeah, any of that kind of stuff, So it's very, very broad range of industries you can kind of work in, but it's a trade. It's a tech thing. And it was like close to 30 months worth of schooling. It was like 24, 20. By the time I got done, it was about 26, 27 months because you got to pick your own schedule. And if you were late, you had to make up that time. Well, there were times where I would, either miss a day of school or something, get my work done, get my time in, but I'd have to go back, and even after my schooling was finished, I'd have to make up those hours. So it took me a little longer to do it, but graduated top of my class, I was,
Oh yeah, dude.
like second, third in class out of, however many.
It's salutatorian or something like that, right? Traditional method. I'm impressed. Like that's a lot of certifications. I was trying to think of the few that I got in at least high school, and I'm going to limit it to that because I did not get a high-low certification, but I was allowed to drive high-lows for a while. And I don't know if that was before that was the thing or not, but it was a long time ago. I know that's a certified thing now, and it's taken very seriously, especially in the more corporate type places. Think Home Depot or something like that. But the only other one I can think of, man, and I think it's kind of funny considering what's happening now 20 years later or whatever it is. I got certified to fill propane tanks in high school. And it was like a scary thing, because you learn about how it can expand 400 times its liquid size and how it's obviously very flammable and it's under pressure and all this stuff. And it makes a lot of scary noises. We all gone and taken a propane, like our grill tank, to a place to get it filled and not just exchanged? Have we all done that before or no?
Yeah.
I haven't.
No, I've never done it with propane. I just exchange that. All I use propane for is my grill.
You
Yeah.
should go get it filled one time because here's the little
How would I
caveat.
do
They
that?
actually
You
because you get a lot more for your money, Spartan. They actually don't
I have
fill
to
it.
drive past the place I switch it to get there.
Hydrocarbons are expensive. All right, they are. You get
I
20%.
could walk there. I could not even. I don't have to drive. I could walk there. It's not even.
All right,
maybe
well,
a mile
walk
from
with
my house.
2 of them in your hands and do 1,000 curls.
Why would I need 2 of them? One of them lasts me years and years.
Because then you'll only have one very strong right hand. Okay.
There's a fill up at 23 and Fenton. There's a gas station. That gas station at 23 and Clyde Road. 23 and Clyde Road. There's a fill up station right there. You can fill your own propane.
Is it that? Oh wait, fill your own. You definitely can't do that.
No, not fill your own. But they'll
fill it for. I was gonna say I don't
No
think so,
place you
dude.
can do it. Fill your own.
fill your own.
It's just
Well,
like a helium thing.
Do the
Like a
people.
butane torch, right?
It's like filling up your gas tank. We could all do that.
I can do this.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot different.
there you go.
Just instead of ounces, we're talking gallons.
Can
I mean,
that
they do make the. If you really think about it, they make the barbecue gas grill tank a very dummy proof thing. I mean, it's what is it, 16 pounds of explosive liquid, like, you know what I mean, sitting under a flammable like source that's heating up food that you might be using on the daily. I don't know.
What are you worried about, man? This is
I'm not worried about anything. I'm just saying.
That's
Just recognizing the dangers.
Grease
Oh.
just dripping down onto the.
Yeah, dude. Come on.
So is it much cheaper to go and get it filled there?
Okay, so I pay $14.99 to get a tank filled, and when you get a tank filled, they're filling it up to 80%, which is like the quote unquote legal limit. So if you got a 20-pound tank, that is 16 pounds. From what I understand, what I'm told, if you go and exchange it like at a gas station or a Menards or whatever, you know, or a Home Depot or whatever, they don't even hit the 80% rule. I think they're doing like a 60% rule because they technically sit out in the sun and there's all this whatever. I don't know, whatever rules they use internally with their own policies gives you less. So I've been told that it's, you know, a better value to go get it filled. And quite frankly, at $15 per tank, it certainly is, because I think it's like, yeah, it's about 20, I think, now at most of the hardware stores, if not 23, 25, something like that.
I've been last year, I think 25 was pretty normal.
So I don't know, is $10 worth the walk or the versus the drive, Spartan?
I have to drive either way. What are you talking about?
I thought you were walking and doing one.
I
hand
couldn't
grill.
save money. I couldn't save even more money. I'm saying. And in the
And burn
10 years
calories.
I've had my grill, I've had to do it one time.
And look jacked on one side.
Don't really care. Once in 10 years change.
You see, you only change your propane once in 10 years.
Yeah, I
This
don't
man
grill.
does not grill a goddamn thing.
Having a
He's
cook
just
cookout.
right
building
now.
a wasp nest
Let's have a-
inside of his
Wow.
grill every
Let's have a
summer.
cookout.
I want to hear that you cook every day and you only change it once in 10 years. Is that
It definitely doesn't cook.
I don't cook every day on it. Not at all.
would be very impressive. That would be
Oh, yeah.
efficient cooking. It's like throw that fucker up, throw the burger on, and eat it.
He tapes off
I'm-
all the
I'm
little
one
nozzles
person.
except one.
I'm one person. Why would I get all this shit out for one person when I can
Wait,
just
you don't turn on all 4 burners just when you want to cook 2 hot dogs?
No, I just use the one. And I don't cook hot dogs or eat them.
Not even the all beef ones?
No.
Why?
Why would I?
Why wouldn't you?
I don't like them.
Okay, that's all you had to say.
I had all the
I
last night.
thought you were gonna tell me that there's something good about it that I should eat.
Nope, just here for your opinion, dude. That's it.
And BGS cookout at Spartan's place.
No
Well,
hot dogs
I
allowed.
did go back and look at the.
Oh, dude, that's a
Concorde.
rusty grill, man.
I did go back and look up the Concorde, and it's United Airlines, and they're coming out in 2029.
Last time it flew was 2003, and look at how fast that fucking thing went. Was it like 1,500 miles per hour or something?
This one's going 1,122, Mach
Okay, like
1.7.
3.
I mean, that's like 3 times faster than most planes, maybe twice as fast.
Twice as fast. This says it can
Okay.
go from, what does it say, from London to New York and make the trip in 3.5 hours, shaving 3 hours off the flight.
Jeez, that's
Yeah.
quick. Bring them
Awesome.
back. Let's go Concorde.
Yeah, let's do it.
Bye Boeing. Hopefully Boeing
United
doesn't make them.
Airlines. Yeah, Boeing needs some competition. They're fucking up anyway. They're getting sloppy.
Yeah, how about those whistleblowers just dropping dead, huh?
Definitely doesn't make me feel good about flying around the place. I'll tell you that. Hearing all the
Yeah,
stories.
Mr. Pimping all over the world over here.
Yeah, it's not great.
I
I've never once looked forward to a flight other than a flight home.
Really?
Really, it's not the trip. I mean, once I'm at the location, I'm cool. I like it, but the flight, I don't look forward to get on the flight. It's not a pleasurable experience for me. I'm like, ooh, I get to
Not
get
at
on
all?
the plane. I don't know how more I could explain that. No.
The whole airport experience kind of just blows overall, you know, like it's not. So
You guys got to learn how to have fun with it. Oh, come on. All right. So first
What are you
things
talking
first.
about? What is fun about getting cramped in like a sardine? There's no time that's fun.
You don't know how to get a free massage at the airport?
What would I?
Guys.
I don't have time to fucking get a free
Yes, you
massage.
do.
And I don't want
Yes,
another
you do.
stranger. fucking
TSA
touching
gives
me.
it to you. Every time you go up to TSA and you walk up to that point where you gotta, you know, you've already checked your like what is it called? Your boarding pass and your ID with the little security person at the little desk, right? And then you get past them, and then there's just this octagon or octopus legs of like lines, like Spartan's hat right now. I guess that's more of a tarantula, but a tarantula of lines that spread out into, you know, different machines that you have to walk through, and they do well, God knows what to you while you're, you know, dropping off all your belongings in this
You're
belt.
being
That
pretty dramatic here.
sorry, it's a fun, dramatic time.
airport. This sounds like
Doing God knows what to you. What do you mean? They're just
sounds
scanning
like
you.
you're on Total Recall. Where are you at?
DTW. All right, so let's continue with the dramatization of the airport experience. And when you walk up and you get to this tarantula legs, and you've dropped off a few of your items into these bins, and probably your belt and your shoes and whatever else is on your person,
And your hat.
exactly. You say, "Excuse me, sir, I'd like to opt out," and then look at you like you're crazy, and you look at them back like you're crazy, and you sit there and you wait for probably about 20 minutes while they just inadvertently shame you with no shoes on, no belt on. You get to stand there and watch everyone pass by you and go through the crazy wicked scanner thing, and you get to stand there and say, "I'm not going through any scanner today, sir." And then they finally come back like a half hour later as you're almost missing your flight, and they walk you around all the scanners, and they take you into this corner and they say, "Sir, would you like a private screening area?" And you say, "No, I'm just here for the massage." And then they proceed to spread your legs and spread your arms and pat you down and give you a full body massage. And I do this every time I go to the airport.
I think that's
You
bad
don't even have
advice.
to tip them.
I think that's bad advice. I don't think that's good advice.
I used to hate that. I used to wear like a glucose monitor, and it couldn't go through the scanners, and so I would have to always tell them that I couldn't go through, and it would take so long. And then they're
It
like,
takes forever.
whole body in front of everyone, just like staring
You
at
get Becca, you could get a private screening room. It's okay. I've never done this because, you know,
get it over with. And then they
it's part
put
of the experience.
hands to make sure I don't have bomb residue
God knows what. Yeah, who knows what.
on my like device. They made me lift up my shirt and show my continuous glucose monitor.
Now, sir, I'm gonna go up inside both of your legs with the back of my hand until I feel resistance. Oh, I bet you are.
I'm trying to think if I definitely have been on an airplane since 9/11, but I feel like the security pressure wasn't as bad. I wasn't that old. I haven't been on an airplane in dude, probably since I was 9.
It's all theater now. I will say that DTW, they do have when you're going through Detroit, you don't have to take off your shoes or even take your laptops out of the bags now, because they have these weird new scanners that are like more like an MRI machine, I think, that they take forever to go through on and pull out every third bag. But you know,
Still had me take my shoes off.
really?
Yep.
Oh, what terminal did you fly out of?
I don't know,
What airline?
international.
Put it that way.
It's all international, whatever the international.
Okay.
They were all. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
It might have been.
It's just
But
a-
anyways,
Like-
pro tips, massages at airports. Go for it, guys.
Don't recommend.
I
Yeah.
mean, I do it every time. I've done this for like the last probably a decade. I'm not even kidding you. And we've had
wouldn't
some
even-
fun.
I wouldn't
Well,
even
I-
fly with you. I wouldn't even fly. But you take your own flight. I'll go my own. I'm not going to
That's fine.
I'm not going to go through that whole.
Why would you wait for me? We don't have to fly
That's what I'm
together.
saying. I'm not going to. I'm not going
Dude, I was
This is my experience.
Do you think?
I had a
That's
blast
weird.
at the airport. I had a blast at the airport, like in a real fun way. When my buddy went to Boston for a job interview, and he was going to be there for 2 days. So Mama Red was going to hook me up with a buddy pass to get out there. Maybe not, but just I don't know. I can fly standby, basically fly for free. Mama Red's airline retiree, so she gets a chance to fucking fly for like basically paying, I don't know if it's gas or taxes or what, but it's super cheap. The only problem is you have to fly standby, so you might not get on an airplane. If there's a seat available, you get on. Sometimes you get first class. It's
Amazing.
yeah, super awesome, but sometimes you miss flights. And I sat there trying to get on a Boston flight all day. I got there early in the afternoon and I ate I don't know, this is in the days where I was making cookies. So I ate like a couple cookies. So I was already getting to security. I'm like mowing down my cookies. Like, all right, I'm gonna get to Boston. The flight's in like a couple hours. This time was post 9/11, so it was certainly like get there a few hours ahead of time. And Mama Red was working at the business club, and so in the business club they had serve yourself fountain machines for beer and liquor, so you could like pour yourself a like vodka cranberry drink or a margarita or a Bud Light or a Miller Light or something. And then like it was just serve yourself. There's nobody to pay anything. And so you just go in here and it's just a cocktail lounge. You just go have yourself a cocktail. And then there's like 3 or 4 of them at was 3 or 4. I don't know, at DTW at the
It's like a Delta Sky Lounge type deal.
yeah, like a
Okay.
Delta Sky Lounge. At the time it might have been Northwest.
Oh, I loved Northwest,
Okay.
man. That's what I used to fly.
It was
back in
like
the day.
Northwest it was called like the World Club or something like that, and so you'd go through and I can go. She got me to check in, put your name on the list, whatever, put my name on the list. So I get in there and I'm just hanging out a couple hours before my flight. I have a couple drinks. Well, my flight got bumped back, so I got like 2 more hours for another flight. So the cigarette smoking area is a fucking closet, dude. It's like the size of this little like area that we're sitting in right here, basically. And there's like 2 other guys in there smoking cigars. So I'm like back and forth to this long ass far other end of the terminal for the cigarette closet to back to the other place to go sit down and have a drink. I ended up having way too many drinks. Those cookies were long kicked in. Never got on an airplane. I kept fucking not missing flights, but I kept like having to ride standby and like not having a seat for me to get on. So I ended up just not going to Boston that weekend and ended up having to like hang out at the airport for a little while, like before I could actually go home. You know what I mean? Sober up. But like I went under the tarmac. There's like, I don't know if anybody has ever been to Detroit Metro. It's like an escalator ride that goes under the tarmac, and it's like a fucking mile long of an escalator, and it just has these like LED light. It used to. I don't know if it's still there. This is like 10 or 15 years ago, but like has like this tunnel of LED lights. And so I was just ripped out of my mind just riding this tunnel back and forth fucking 10 times, dude. I just kept going back and forth down this fucking tunnel, dude. And I'm riding this tunnel and I'm like, oh, here I am doing this. Yeah, this is the tunnel. It's fucking cool. And it's a really long tunnel. I went down this tunnel for the first time. I went down there for a job interviewing for Spirit. And I was like, this is fucking trippy, man. And I never ended up getting the job for Spirit or even taking a job for Spirit, but That was
Thank goodness.
yeah, I don't know. It's a no tolerance policy.
Have you ever
know.
flown Spirit? Probably not, because
No,
your mom.
Not lately.
I wouldn't. I'm not that brave.
Same dude.
I did a couple years back to Mexico, and it was like a whole different world. There, the plane was like bare bones, right? Get in, and like they have the extra tiny seats.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why you should be too worried about those scanners for real. You should be more worried about just being up in the sky in the airplane. You get exposed to like radiation, all kinds of fun stuff up there in the airplane.
I'm not. But one of my favorite spots on a plane, if we want to talk tall people, and Spartan, maybe you can take advantage of this. It's usually a little bit of an upgrade, but for at least the Delta planes, that you take the aisle row, right? Or the exit row.
Emergency.
Yeah, the emergency exit. But with Delta planes, most of them are at least the intercontinental ones. I know you're a world traveler now, so these international planes have a lot of room as it is. But on the exit rows on Delta planes, it's a set of 2 and a set of 3. And the second row has a set of 3. If you take that window seat on the exit row and pay the $80 or whatever it is more for that, there's literally not a seat in front of you, and you have about 5 feet of leg room. That's no joke. And that is my favorite
people next to you
if I'm flying alone.
Oh, you're just one, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm flying alone,
you still want the middle seat. You get the aisle or the window.
You get no. Then this is the thing: you have to get the window seat because because it's 2 seats in front of you with 3 seats behind it.
Oh,
and if you get so there's literally not a seat in front of you. There's just space to get out for the emergency doors, And dude, I could stretch as far as I possibly could while buckled into my seat or while even sliding down, like slouching. There's no way I'm touching that seat in front of me. It's amazing.
I always remember the front seat of coach to have a decent amount of leg room right in front of that wall. Unless I was just a little kid, and that's why
I thought that always had less.
Maybe I was a little kid, but I always felt like comfortable at that.
I know the very back row doesn't recline. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a challenge for some people. But
when I was a young kid, I used to fly all the time. We would go down to Florida to visit my dad's family all the time, like 3-4 times a year. Every time I would have it was a Christmas vacation, midwinter vacation, Easter vacation, we'd fly down to Florida. And it was just like, I don't know. It was like I was really used to it as a kid, being ran through the airport, doing that, not missing airplanes, but like having to like do the standby deal. Like growing up in like grade school, and there was a lot of time where like I'd get pulled out of school and have to like write essays and shit on where I was going and things like that. And then
for school,
yeah, well, like some vacate, yeah, to like my mom would work deals like me not having to like do all the homework that was necessary and like try to like get me to like be able to like
creative writing,
things like that. Yeah, get some sort of credit for being gone. My mom's a world travel. My mom travels like crazy, dude. Like today, she travels. Shout out to her because like it's been her life dream. It's just like travel the world. She's been everywhere. Her and my dad go places all the fucking time. I mean, they're both retired, and that's my mom made it so that she's able to do that. She worked for an airline, and that's where she gets her perks and benefits to be able to fly and go places. And mostly Vegas. They love going to Vegas, and they get room comps. You know what I mean? So they go to Vegas for free all the fucking time. But like, I would go to Florida and just get dragged around in airplanes. Now, as an adult, like I'm bashful to say it, but I'm like terrified of airplanes. It's difficult to get me to go.
Why? What is it about it?
Is
it the anxiety of the experience leading up to it? Like we're all just talking about with the TSA and bullshit, because that's why I have some fun with it, guys.
No, I used to be totally cool with like just waiting in line was just another monotonous experience, just another boring experience. Just dragged me through the line, just fucking played my Game Boy. And I wasn't even there. I was playing my Game Boy. I'd throw on headphones. I'd listen to the Beatles and fucking fly to London. You know what I mean? And then it'd be like, cool, I'm going to walk Abbey Road the fucking Beatles did. And for me, it was the experience of traveling was always fucking cool. But when I got older, I started having dreams and just having general anxiety elsewhere in life. In my later 20s, I started just having general anxiety, and it got to the point to where I couldn't get on to like roller coasters and stuff like that because I started getting like, I would have like do you watch old episodes where I talk about fainting from getting off a Red Bull and shit like that? But like there was times where like, I was into like MDMA and probably dosing fake acid and stuff, and I got dosed, and like it really tripped me out for a little while, and anxiety kind of overcame. It was like during the research chemical days, and ever since then, I don't know. It's due to a lot in part of it's like post research chemicals. So I don't understand. I don't know if it's like because I got dosed with the research chemicals, that's a product like the anxiety and just an all encompassing anxiety. But then I started having these dreams of like the airplanes crashing and just like I've had.
But they just don't, dude. And I know it's like easier said than done, but
objectively, dude, I know this. I went to airplane school. You know what I mean?
Like, I know that's where I was trying to make the connection. Like the safety of it, man. Like
I know the.
Do you think that adds to the anxiety though? The fact that like you're like know every single bolt that might like needs to be tightened, and you know the material of each wing, and
it's a reason I'm meticulous. Like I'm meticulous about things because of that training. Like that training.
Is it because of the training, or is that in your nature, Red?
It's hard to say. Like a lot of the training was driving it that other people's lives are at your hands. Like you can't fuck up. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so like the backup systems for the backup systems are only a small part of that because these are all being at the time put together by human hands. You know what I mean? So every nut and bolt has to be torqued correctly, or else
you're only as strong as your weakest link, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's holes in those buckets, and they have to be fixed. You know what I mean? But the thing is those systems all have sensors and alerts, and like I said, backups, and they all a lot of stuff is mechanical. I mean, it operates on differential pressures and like the differences in. I mean, it's super.
You drive in a car almost every day, right, Red?
Yeah, every day.
What's holding you back from that? Is it not the same anxieties of the mechanical failures or potential whatever it is that might?
No, it's not a necessity. So I would actually driving around.
That's fair.
Drive around my old shitty car. I actually would avoid going places unless I actually had to, because it's gonna fucking fall apart on the road. It's my thought. You know what I mean? I'm back to driving that thing, by the way. So it's, I'm still driving that thing around. It's got 220,000 miles on it.
Nice.
Okay. It's a little shaky.
It's shaky. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I get general anxiety like on the expressway, and like I'll have dizzy spells and shit like that when that shit creeps on. So I do.
Well, is it like blowing carbon monoxide inside of your, maybe is that why you're having fainting spells while you're driving
around the air conditioner?
Hit the exhaust or hit the acceleration a little too much.
Accelerate and in comes that. Is probably
a
lot of it is it's just this general anxiety, but I don't know. It's
I mean, what do you do to combat that, man? Because like I've been there before, but like it's been very specific things.
I got better when I started microdosing a couple years ago. When I started microdosing around COVID era, was really like 3 or 4 years ago. Around COVID, I had a panic attack where I couldn't take deep breaths. I didn't have a single deep breath from basically the middle of March through like the end of June. Like I did not have a deep breath.
Whoa, really?
And it was very, very heavy on my lungs. And I think I went through the shows and I talked about it. We had live shows, did many, many live shows during that era. And then eventually the breathing sort of came back. But I started microdosing mushrooms pretty regularly. It wasn't just like once or twice. It was very regularly and consistently. And a lot of that anxiety went away. A lot of the honestly, like when I'm microdosing and thinking about it, a lot of the anxiety of like getting on an airplane or any of that stuff really does go away. Those dreams do happen here in between, but the reason that the dreams trip me out is because of dreams that have came true, right? I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but like there's been like a couple examples, like within a small short period of time, both of these examples happening around the same time. It was one of them was there's this dude who was stealing from my roommates and my friends, but he was a really good friend of mine. We were, I don't know, we met each other when we were like late in high school and like knew each other for a few years, and he got into opioids really fucking bad. It was just really heavy on like Vicodin pills and shit like that. Eventually I was letting him he got kicked out of his house. I was letting him couch surf with me and my roommate. He started stealing from us, all kinds of shit. I ended up extinguishing my relationship with the kid and like completely didn't see him for, I don't know, a couple years. You know what I mean? I'm having a dream one night and I'm like yelling at him in my dream, calling him a motherfucker or something, motherfucking him up and down, and good people, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? Just basically calling him a piece of shit. Just probably being too mean, being overly mean, you know what I mean, in my dream. But I woke up and I'm like, oh, dude, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden my phone goes off. I'm awake and I look at my phone and he's calling me. He hadn't called me in years, you know what I mean? I hadn't thought of him. Yeah, I thought of the encounter, but I didn't dream of him or nothing. But I had that dream and he's calling. Another experience was I got this.
What was the phone call about, dude?
I didn't answer the call, dude. I don't.
Okay, because I gotta say that seems like one of those things where I think dreams move fast enough that it probably felt like it was an hour or multiple hours in your dream, and it might have been that literal 30 seconds that your phone was ringing.
I've often thought of that, but it wasn't like I like woke up and then looked at my phone and like.
I know. I'm just saying, like, there's
weird.
I think there's. I'm not saying there's not a deep connection there. I'm just saying it might be
like. Well, either way. So then the other dream is the shit that came up missing off my front porch. Same how I'm living in the same house, and I don't know. I either pulled it out of the trash somewhere or I got it at a thrift store. I think I got it at a thrift store, a secondhand shop or something. But it was a plant holder. It was like this metal, aluminum or steel plant holder. And I just put sand in it, stuck it on my front porch. It was a heavy cigarette smoker. I just put sand in it. It was my ashtray. I get home, it's my front porch ashtray. It's fucking big ass wide. It was a pot holder. You know what I mean? Plant holder. It sat about 3 feet tall and sit on we had a big ass couch on our front porch, sit there and smoke a joint and a cigarette and all fucking them. I don't know, 21 years old. I didn't do shit, hang out and rollerblade and stuff. And I had my ashtray out there, and I'm over explaining this story for some stupid reason. I don't know. I'm just like super
just details. It's okay.
Anyways, I guess I'm going through my memory, I suppose, right? Is that what's going on?
Well, it's a live thought process, everyone.
So yeah. No, but then so I'm having a dream that it's blowing away. And it's out of my reach, and like it's a windy storm. It's like this tornado's whipping through, and I'm on my porch. But that's the thing, I'm out of my grasp, and I'm reaching for it, and it's flying through my neighbor's house. You know what I mean? It's gone. Sand's fucking flying everywhere. It's like one of those, like the movie The Mummy or something. You know what I mean?
Oh no! Don't give me flashbacks.
I fucking shook it off. You know what I mean? Not thinking anything of it. Went about my day. Went to work. I would like take my longboard to work. I worked across the street, come skating home, and like it's gone. And there's sand all over the fucking front porch. You know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck? That day that I had that dream, you know what I mean? I don't know. That thing sat on my porch for a couple weeks. It wasn't like the day I got it. Could find out like everything of metal started coming up missing. My bike came up missing. Chairs were coming up missing.
Oh no!
And it was most likely the same dude that was stealing all the coins and change from my roommates, and because
scrap metal.
Yeah, he was stealing scrap metal. He was stealing our change. He told me that his apartment got robbed and all his roommate's stuff got stolen, but none of his. Like, why are you even telling me the story? It had to have been some split stuff or something. I don't know. The poor dude. I mean, I feel really bad for him. And drugs are fucking bad, dude.
Yeah.
Pharmaceuticals are fucking terrible, dude. It's you know what I mean? They can be,
I remember,
and they can be fucking just ultimately just so confusing.
I remember in 2004 when Southeast Michigan was one of the fastest growing areas in the nation in terms of residential, at least. And then by 2008, 4 years later, it was one of the most ripped off places in terms of new builds, because every little foot or inch of aluminum and copper wiring was getting ripped out of all these commercial and residential structures, and it was all getting sold for scrap for a good amount of money. And that's why they were doing it, because it just, the market flipped so quickly, man. And now it's all those build costs have not gone away, and they're still paying the price.
People were pulling copper out of streetlights and like all kinds of shit, man.
Dude, it was an issue, like a real issue here in Michigan, at least Metro Detroit, for like, I don't know what, like a couple of years or something.
Yeah, I got some buddies that do contract work. It was pretty bad.
I know I have a lot of dreams, but I'm not really great at remembering them most of the time. Like I'll be thinking about them right when I wake up, and then as soon as my brain leaves that,
Space.
It really fades quite fast.
The only thing I've heard is to have a journal next to your bed, like on a nightstand, and the very moment you wake up, you have to start writing it down, because otherwise it just slips so quickly, guys. We all know it's just whoop.
Well, have you ever heard of like accessing information in your sleep, like
intentionally?
I think it was like, I might be wrong about Einstein, but it was like some inventor, I think it was, or a physicist or somebody who would take naps with a steel ball in their hand.
It was Einstein, yep.
And he would let the ball drop into a metal bowl, and the idea being that moment of falling asleep is like you have this like wave of information that like comes flooding into your like REM. It's either part of your REM sleep cycle, or it's part of like the ether coming,
like DMT or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, like the shot of DMT, but it's like information that you
Let me tell you, folks. Yeah. Going to sleep is nothing like a shot of DMT. Let me just tell you that right
now. Well, tell us about the shot of DMT. What was that like? And maybe we can compare it to our own experiences.
I've smoked several different times, but never enough to really what I would consider completely blast off. And
okay.
But it was always a positive experience for me. Always super positive, like, and happy.
I mean, that's
and
great.
Loud. That's extremely loud and like psychedelic. Like I sat there and smoked DMT to the point to where like I was taking drags on it and just trying to see how many I could take. And I think I went to 5, to the point to where when I just blinked, every time I blinked, it would be the wild colors and geometric shapes. And it always felt like tunnel-like, like tunnel-like. Like going really fast. But then as soon as you open your eyes, everything was back to just fine. And then you close your eyes again, bam, back to it.
Oh, so it's only with eyes closed.
For me. I mean, I don't know. My experience. And and so then I went to hit it for the 6th time, I think it was, or maybe it was the 5th time. But as I was hitting it, I just instinctively closed my eyes because I think I just always do that. And so I closed my eyes and it was just like too much. It was like overwhelming. So I just leaned back and just like experienced that world for a while. I don't know. It's one of those things where you don't have words to describe it.
So you walked up the stairs until you found that level, and then
I started, they said start out with this little pen that I had. They said to start out you do like 2 deep hits or whatever. I'm like, okay, what's deep hit? So I just took real 2 big deep hits, and got very slight effect, but nothing really. And so then I was like, I waited a little bit, and I tried 3, and then I was like, fuck this. And so then I went to like, okay, this is gonna have to work. And I noticed it was after my ear thing, so the ringing in my ear was like I think that's what was preventing me from blasting off, because it was like my anchor to this world.
That
Because
constant.
it was very noisy, like the rush of it was very like a noise, and the noise in my ear, the ringing in my ear that I have, the tinnitus or whatever it is, that got super like loud, but it like reminded me of opening my eyes, go back to reality. So I think
it's an anchor, dude.
Yeah. So I think that was my like analysis on it. But the time that I was there, it was I got positive vibes. There was an entity there, but I couldn't describe now. It's like a dream. I forget,
Yeah.
But I just remember it was super positive, and there was like happy. I was just smiling the whole time. Like I felt like I was just super happy and smiling and just a little awestruck, I guess.
I want to describe it as a storm, and I'm not talking specifically about the DMT trip, but I'm talking about like the letting go of that like reality. I want to describe it as you in a think of I don't know why I go with Jaws boat. Maybe it's just the era I grew up in. But if we think about the movie Jaws and how they're on that like fishing boat, right? And that size of a boat, and you're just out in the ocean, I don't know, maybe 50 miles out or something like that. And you got your anchor down, somehow it's hit the bottom and you're anchored there and you can stay there, right? And you're going to stay there wherever your GPS coordinates are. You're going to be within, 50 feet of that or whatever for however long your anchor's going to stay. But all of a sudden these waves start coming and they start rocking your boat a little bit and you start bouncing, and then all of a sudden you start bouncing a little bit more, and the rain's hitting a little bit harder, and you got to go inside and you got to take a little bit of cover, and you don't really know what's going on, and all of a sudden that anchor breaks free and you're just loose. Like that's the moment I feel like in which the not break from reality and that you're like losing your mind, but the break from reality and that you can just let go.
Like the surrender. Yeah.
You have to surrender to the ocean and just know that you don't need the anchor. You just don't need it. And you can be free and you can float and just let the world or the ocean take you.
Yeah, I totally felt that I was gonna go like completely if it would have just stopped fucking with me. My ear would just stop fucking with me.
Yeah, dude, it's so hard though. It's so hard to just completely break free. And even if it's only for a moment, man, that might be all you need, Yeah,
I was getting told the flashes with it. And like I said, I was having conversations without saying a word, kind of a thing.
Right.
So yeah, so I was experiencing some of it, but I don't feel like I was like fully immersed. I didn't feel like I felt like there's more there yet or whatever.
Red, tell me, is that a analogous scenario for you? I mean, does that feel like what it's like for you to break free from like the reality? Like,
it's been a very long time since I've like gone beyond the reality, the veil, you know what I mean? It's been, what is it? It's 2014. It's been like 15 years. Like 2009.
Whoa.
That was the last time I've broken free. I've probably allegedly in some other reality, someone who is not me may have consumed probably, I don't know, a couple ounces of mushrooms and sheets of paper in that time and have not tripped, you know what I mean? Because I microdose at best. I mean, I take like a quarter tab of paper, maybe a couple times throughout a day, so like a half a tab of paper, but it's not like enough to like break a veil, or like, especially with the tolerance, it's just not enough. Maybe if I didn't have
explain what breaking the veil is.
Well, you begin to have visual hallucinations in the form of maybe kaleidoscopic traces, colorful traces. Your thoughts begin to bend to the point to where your normal day-to-day stuff fizzles away. You don't really think about it, or
You see how silly it is.
in the case of like mushroom, like, well, yeah, like for me, I would get overly, I would know that I'm breaking through because I start to get in, what's the word, like introspective
inside your head.
in my
Well,
head.
there's
Things that I have to do, things I'm missing out on, things that I
is it not, hold on, can I throw a term at you guys real quick? Is it, when you get to that point, is it not existentialism?
explain.
I'm not going to do a good job at this, but it's almost like you say introspective, but it's almost like the third eye view of
Of your faults.
I mean, is it the same as the ego death? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different terms that, like,
Yeah. It is. It's a very similar, I guess, because for me, it becomes to like this point to where you're looking at yourself from outside. You're
right. It's not that third eye view, right?
Habits. You start to actually pay attention to yourself. And for me, it's like I'll pay attention to the way I'm sitting, to the way I'm presenting myself. If I'm around other people, am I moving too much? Do they know I'm high? Am I talking out loud? Am I not talking out? Once I start to question whether or not my thoughts are out loud, that's when I know that I'm under. You know, I'm in the. And what'll happen is those introspective thoughts will get to the point to where, and this is my mind 15 years ago when my responsibilities were a little bit different. You know what I mean? Nowadays I have different my responsibilities then to where the point where it got stressful was because I was no longer just like going to college and trying to figure stuff out. Now I was on my own and I was, in charge of my life. And like, so a lot of my introspection would go like, am I being responsible with my time? Is being on drugs responsible with my time? And I wouldn't think of it as a therapeutic session. Right. And this was
But before you keep going though, we're already past time.
Oh, all right.
You can keep wrapping it up. You can keep wrapping it up, but I'm just giving you a chance to wrap it up.
Well, I would. And honestly, I don't want to just like promote any substances, but pre-LSD, pre-paper, that was my thoughts. When I did paper, it was more of like, oh, this is therapy. And this is like actually, I never actually was introspective in a negative way. It was actually like more or less focused. The ego death was like, oh, this is how I'll proceed with the future. Fuck the past. Whereas the mushrooms is more or less like be concerned about my past and my here and now. And
wait, mushrooms were?
Yeah, mushrooms were far more introspective instead of like.
But did it apply to the present, or was it only a look at your past?
No, it applied to the present. So
okay.
mushrooms would like, I would be like worried about what I'm doing in the here and now. Who's thinking about me? And then if I was on LSD, I'd be like, who gives a fuck what people are thinking about me? You know what I mean? I was like, totally. And then the socialization would be much different too, where I wouldn't really be able to go talk to anybody on mushrooms, but on LSD, I would go talk to police. You know what I mean? And hey,
that's
bad. You look great today. You know what I mean? It's like totally.
That's okay. So I've always heard that weed will make you run from the police and meth will make you run at the police. So be careful with the drugs that make you run at the police.
Flower.
And with that, I guess cheers, guys. We'll see you next week. What a wild conversation. I can't wait to continue it.
Keep growing, everybody.
Right.